Good morning and welcome back to my colouring quest, part 3 of my colouring book collection. This is my third cube on my Kallax shelf, and we're starting off with Jasmine Beckett Griffith colouring book, A Fantasy Art Adventure, and I have only coloured the one page in here. Well, I say page, but it is more of one of the smaller designs. I decided to make her look like a bride that is in a forest, and I like how the skin turned out. I don't often use greens in skin, but when I do I find that I like it, and I don't know why I don't use it more often. I think it gives it a bit more of a gloomy sort of evening vibe. So yeah, that is the only page I have coloured in there, and I love this paper. It's really good, and I'm thinking of getting the other books, but only when I have coloured probably a few more pages in this one, as there's a lot. Right, so that was Jasmine Beckett Griffith colouring book. Next I have Googly's Find Colour. It's a Chinese colouring book, and I have, let me just take this off. I have coloured this page. This was all in watercolour, I believe. It was either pencils or just watercolour. I can't remember. It's quite a while ago that I coloured this page. And then I have again used mostly watercolour on this page as well. And yeah, water medium works great in this book because the paper is very textured and very thick and can withstand quite a lot of water. Excuse me. Next I have this double page, which is also watercolour but definitely has pencil on top of this guy, and I loved colouring this one, but at the same time this background, I didn't know what to do with it because it's such a huge space. And then I believe I've coloured one more in here. I should have put a tag in it. Here we go. I've coloured this girl, and I decided to make it look like she was dancing and creating this magical light, and I love how this turned out. I think this was just pencil I used on this one. There might have been a bit of watercolour underneath, but the background to me definitely looks like I've used pencil on it. Yeah, I do love the illustrations in this book, but at the same time it terrifies me to colour them. Do I have any more? I don't think so. This is my favourite illustration in the whole book. So that was Googly's Find Colour. Next I have Mystica. And I'm forgetting who illustrated this. I can't actually... Dada Cho. And I have coloured one page in here, if I can find it. I thought I had. Did I not colour anything in here? I coloured this lady. Let me just go back in a bit. Sorry about that. And I used a very sort of muted green browns for this page. I wanted to just make it look a bit more sort of classical. And the illustrations again in this book are absolutely stunning, and I love that you get the images as the original artwork, so you have a reference even if you don't want to follow the reference. It's there to help you if you need it. So that was Mystica. And I have this book. I'm not actually sure what it is called, so feel free to do your own translating. I did look it up when I got the book, but I can't remember. And in this book I have coloured again one page, and I made it very sparkly in the background with some glitter paste and some gel pens. And again, you just make this so I can have all the books to the side of me and it's getting in the way a bit. Right, maybe that will help. Right, there we go. So yes, I've used coloured pencils on the illustration and all in the background, and then the glitter paste on top. And these dots around the bottom here were done with various coloured Posca pens, just dotted on for a bit of fun. And yes, I started with the Cancer page in this book because it's my sign. Yeah, it took the water quite well. You can see the gel pen ghosting through a bit, but that doesn't bother me. And if you want to look them up, the Kimstar. Next I am moving on to the Momo Girl colouring books. This I think is the newest release from Momo Girl, and I absolutely love this one and how it turned out. And yeah, I don't know, I just liked making it a nighttime scene and using only pencils and obviously the white dots of the Posca pen. But it was so much fun to make it try and look like the flowers were at night time, because sometimes even though you're going for a nighttime look, you end up doing the flowers too bright. But in this case I managed to, I believe, make it look like it's in the evening, and I just love how it turned out. That's one of my favourite ever finished colouring pages. And I loved adding all these strands of hair. And yeah, again with this book, you get to see what the illustration looked like by the artist. Absolutely love that. I do love seeing the traditional outfits. And next is another Momo Girl. This one, is this the musical or the poems? I think this is a poem. I don't know. Go with poem, go with music. I really should have and I have done this page. Absolutely love it. Was going for a golden theme, made the flowers into sunflowers, used Distress ink on the background, which I find really difficult to use that. And then, yeah, just pencil on the actual illustration. And because I made a bit of a mess around the outside, I decided to give it a golden border as well, which I think went really nicely with the illustration. So yeah, and some gold leaf on just little parts of, I sort of made this gold beaded chain in the background. For I don't know why, but I just felt like it needed to be there. But yeah, again, I love the hair on this page. It just, the colours that I picked worked really nicely together. So that's Momo Girl again. And I do have the other book, the one with the green cover, but I haven't actually coloured anything in that one yet. So next is Momo Girl's Love Letter. And this is a hardback. And I believe it's a compilation of some of the images from Girls with Poem and Music, and then maybe a few new ones at that time. Oh, I really should have found the one I coloured in here. Out there. I love it. I absolutely love this. And again, I did the cat is the colours of my brother's cat bow, and I've made this sort of a blue sort of icy page with her skin having blue as the undertone and a little bit of red in the cheek. And then I used stickles, I believe, on that heart on her skin, and over the in the background I've used acrylic paint and then gone on top with, I believe it was the glitter dust paint, Glamour Dust, is that what it's called? But yeah, I made it really sparkly. And again, I love the paper in all these Korean books. I don't know, they have really good quality paper in them. And again, the illustrations are absolutely beautiful. And they're one-sided in this book, which is really nice. And it does come with some with like pages where you can actually write on the back of them. But yeah, oh my gosh, that's stunning. So that was Momo Girl's Love Letter. Next, I'm moving on to Apol's colouring books, and this one, I'm guessing it's Moments Wholly for You. That's beautiful, isn't it? Simple red cover with a silver illustration. And I have coloured this page, very sparkly in the background. So again, on the illustration it is simply coloured pencil, and then in the background it's coloured pencil but gone on top with the Mod Podge Extreme Glitter. I've used a white Posca to get rid of the lines on her hair, so to make it more lighter and blonde. And yeah, I like how it turned out. Maybe in looking back on it, I should have done a different colour in the background instead of this green, because it turned out a bit more muted than I originally wanted. Should have gone in with another green to brighten it up a bit, but I didn't want it to clash with her dress. Yeah, I love these books as well. Next we have Apol's Forest Girl colouring book, the second one, which is the premium edition one, with amazing paper that can hold water like anything. And I have done this page purely in Polychromos pencils and a white Posca pen. You should just assume that all of my pages have a white Posca pen used somewhere. And I think I've done another one, which I absolutely love this page. Just bring that out a bit. Now the complete entire background is done with watercolour, and some details were added in with some Polychromos pencils I remember on this page, but the actual little girl and her friends were just coloured in with the Polychromos. No watercolour was used on those. Did I have another page coloured in here? No. So just those two pages in that, and I made it look like she was coming out of like a portal in the tree, something like Narnia. It's like, yeah, turn around girl, you're coming into a not so good place with all those red lights and stuff. Makes it look a bit underworldy, and the dead trees. Well, trees just don't have leaves on, do they? But so next I have Luna by Maria Troll. And again, this one is a hardback cover. It's the only Maria Troll book that I own, but at the moment I think this is enough. And I have coloured this page, and I really love it. I had to look up a reference for what these flowers could look like, and I've just kept everything sort of the colours that they could be in real life. I love the little bee, but I absolutely love the fact that I added the Mod Podge Extreme Glitter again on this background. It looks really nice on top of the blue. I love the sparkle. I'm not sure if I've done any more pages in here. I think I was going to, but I don't think I actually got around to starting it. No. So just this page from Luna by Maria Troll. Next I have Mouse Guard colouring book. Absolutely amazing book again, but I don't believe you are able to buy this anymore. It's out of print, and if you do try to buy one you will be paying a ridiculous amount, but it's always good to keep an eye out if it is something you wanted. Right, I think I've got two in here. So first I have this guy with his lantern, and I think I like making things look like nighttime. I think it's because you can try and add a glow, and I went through a time where I wanted to practice adding light source. And yeah, in the background, I believe underneath the pencil I used some kind of watercolour or watercolour pencil. I can't remember what it was that I used, but then I've gone all on top with pencil anyway. And I find that having a base layer of anything, whether it's like a marker or a paint, it makes it easier just to colour it in with your pencils. Like, it just makes it simpler and you don't use as much of your pencils up. So the other page I have in here is this. And this was the first page I coloured in here, and I think I just used pencils and a white Posca on this page. And I made the leaf look like an autumn leaf, because I thought this leaf could be any colour of any leaf really, and I just went with autumn. It's starting to turn brown on the edges, but I like the wings. I contemplated going over the outside of the wings with the white Posca, but then I thought that might make them disappear off the page because it is going on to this background part. So I decided not to do that. Wasn't sure if I had another one coloured in here, but I tend to think about colouring pages and then I haven't actually coloured them. No, that is an amazing colouring book. That's the Mouse Guard colouring book by David Peterson. Now on to some of my favourite colouring books, and I'm going to try and do these ones in order. And I say some of my favourite, I mean my favourite colouring books, and they are the Pop Manga colouring books by Camilla D'Errico, and I have actually coloured more than one page in these books. A lot more than one page. Right, so first I have this very glittery mermaid page, and I just chucked everything at this page, I think. For the actual girl, I have used just pencils and white Posca to go over any black lines to make her look more, well, white and mystical. And then in the background I used acrylic paint on top with Mod Podge Extreme glitter, and I added some little confetti stars. I don't even know why, but they were just there that day and I was adding sparkle and shine and they just got added in. And then oh my gosh, these two illustrations is my favourite double page anywhere. This page was the first one that I coloured in this book, and it's entirely with pencils, and let's just say it took a very long time to colour, but it is my favourite page that I've ever coloured, purely because of how proud it made me to have it finished. And this page on the other side was terrifying, because when you colour something next to your favourite page, it scares you because you want it to look good next to each other. And in the background I have used watercolours, and then on the illustration is pencil, and I went in with some paint on a sponge to add these white sort of foamy water effect. And I really enjoyed that, and I'm glad that I could make this double page look good together, because it really did scare me, and I don't know how I managed to actually colour it at the time. It's just like, I don't know, how did I do that? And this double page was a lot of acrylic paint in the background. Again, to get this pink sort of effect, I went in with a sponge with the pinks on the sponge, and then the whole of the illustration is coloured pencil. I found it difficult adding her face details in, because I never really done an illustration where the face is so much facing to the side but still looking to the front, so I found that difficult. But I love how this turned out. It's quite a bold page. And then I have this page, which again I love. I love how the hair turned out on this, all pink and floofy. And a little birdie. I tried to make his heart shine, but I'm not sure I got away with that. And then in the background again it's acrylic paint, and I have again splodged a darker purple on top to make it look different colours. But it's so easy to do when you've just got paint on a sponge. But always remember to put some tape down so you don't get it on the other page, because when it's on the sponge it is harder to control than when it's on a brush. And then I just went in with a white Posca to add in some sparkles. And that's all I've done in the Pop Manga colouring book. And now I have the Pop Manga Mermaids colouring book, also by Camilla de Erico. And with this book I decided to do it sort of darker, like not as bright. And on over the whole of this page, when I was colouring it, I used a green watercolour, this green in the background. Even over all the seals and the mermaid, so it all has this green base layer. And then I went on top with pencils. I added I call them clouds, but they're like water clouds, aren't they? With acrylic paint. And then the bubbles are just a white Posca, I think. I might have actually used just pure acrylic paint to paint those in, actually. And I absolutely love how this turned out. When it just had the green base layer on though, I did think, oh my god, I've ruined this page. My pencils aren't going to colour over the top of this. But it actually worked out really nicely, which is, it's all trial and error, but when you're doing it in one of your favourite books, it's a bit scary. And next I have, oh, I forgot I coloured this. I don't even think I shared this on Instagram. Yeah, probably could have done with another layer of paint over the background. But yeah, I have obviously used the acrylic paint in the background and then just pencils for the girl and squid. Next I have this page, which again I absolutely love. You see what I mean by saying I've done these pages a bit darker? And again, I have used all watercolour in the background. I have made it look like she is in this cave underwater, because it was just the mermaid on this page. And yeah, I gave her green skin. Something about green skin, I always like how they turn out. I really struggled to know what colour to do her hair though, because I didn't want to do it a normal colour, but at the same time it had to go. But yeah, I like how that turned out. And again, Posca to do the little bubbles. Next, I have my favourite page in here, which is this page. Absolutely love it, and it was very experimental. In the background I have used acrylic paint, and then I watered down some red and dripped it on, which was terrifying because I was not in control of that paint at all when I was letting it drip. But then on top I have gone on with some newspaper cuttings, which is the only time I've actually done that. But yeah, and then the whole of the girl is just pencils, I think. Yeah, just pencils. And again, this was the only part on the page I had to fully add the background. And I had a story that went with her when I was colouring it, that she had witnessed somebody being killed and then nobody would believe her, so she went and got a bit of revenge, which is why she has got blood on her. If I haven't already said this, which I don't think I have, my videos are not intended for children, even though it is colouring, it is adult. And then I have these two pages, which aren't dark, but they're not all going to be dark, but I have a lot more darker themes in this book than I do her others. So this page was the first ever Camilla D'Errico page that I coloured, and I used soft pastels in the background. I made it look like she was at an underwater disco. Don't know why, but I thought she looked like she was about to party. That's why I gave her the multicoloured tail and bright blue hair. Bright blue, blah blah blah. Bright blue. Yes, and that's just pencils on her again. And I love how her skin turned out, because it's always, I never know how to shade the body because I'm used to just faces. And then I have on this side my golden mermaid, which has a little bit of gold paint inside the bubble area, acrylic paint in the background with some, I believe I got a cotton earbud and just dabbed these white circles to make the foamy looking part. But again, on the actual mermaid it is just coloured pencil, and I really enjoyed that one. So that's all I've coloured from mermaids and other sea creatures. Next I have the Cute and Creepy colouring book, also by Camilla D'Errico. And to start off with, I have this double page. The background is actually watercolour, but on the white part there is no watercolour because I sprayed some masking fluid. That's what it was, masking fluid. I put it in a spray bottle and sprayed it onto the page, and then put the pink watercolour down and peeled off the masking fluid. And that's the effect that I got, and I think it works for this page. I did have to go over in black to write in all the Cute and Creepy colouring book because it did get a bit lost within the watercolour paint. But on this actual vampire girl, I have used pencils. It did have this pink watercolour as the base underneath. And I love the fuzzy little bats. Oh dear. And it's just biting into her head, and it's like, yeah, no problem with that. And then I did just go over the hearts with the black as well. Next, I have this very sparkly Yeti. It is a Yeti, right? And what's that? Something's got on there. That's okay. Alright, now I've used a lot of acrylic paint in the background, and then the Mod Podge Extreme glitter to make this very sparkly. But I think it really went with the icy snowy theme. And then on this little guy I've used pencils, and then for the fur I went over all of the black lines to make his fur look more white. And inside the eyes I have used some glitter. It wasn't Stickles, but like the off-brand version, and also on his belly button and nose. And I absolutely think that's adorable. And I want to do this page maybe red, so it sort of contrasts with that, but I'm not sure about that, like fire and ice sort of feel to it. Next I have this Beauty and the Beast page, and this was done all with pencils, and oh my gosh, the background took me forever because it was layer after layer after layer for these little glow details. And I love how it looks now, but thinking back on it, I don't know how I had the patience for it. But I made the pink glow from the rose onto all of her skin and the tail, and yeah, I'm really happy with how that one turned out as well. I'm happy with all of my pages in Camilla D'Errico books. I don't know why, but they always turn out better than I expect. Next up, I absolutely love this page. I like too much. Right. And this again is acrylic paint in the background with the splodge of gold with the sponge, and then he is just purely coloured pencil. Yeah, I love that I added the little bit of pink into his skin with the green, but it wasn't too much because I always find it difficult to get the right shade to go with the skin colour that I've used, because it often just turns out looking really pink and red, and I have to then go in and blend and blend and blend. Next I have this page, which I believe is based off of Camilla D'Errico's dog Loki. But with all these bones in the background, I thought I'd make it into a Harry Potter themed page because of the three-headed dog Fluffy from the movie. And yeah, I made the bones like into the flying keys, and this one here has the broken wing, so it's like I love it. And this is like, I looked up a reference of what the room looks like, that Fluffy's garden, the trapdoor, and tried to paint that in. And then I've painted the bones golden because why not? Yeah, I love it. I did look up a picture of her dog to see what colour it was. And next I have this adorable page with the cat and the pumpkin, and I absolutely love it. I've done a bit of gold foiling in the background, and on top of all the pumpkins, I don't know if you can see, they sparkle. That is the glamour dust on top of the coloured pencil. And yeah, I absolutely love that. I struggled to figure out what colour to do in the background, but this blue just works really nicely, I think. And next I have coloured this page. Oh my gosh. I coloured this page when I was ill, and that is what I felt like I looked like, just a mess. And yeah, acrylic paint in the background, and over the black lines I've used a Posca pen on the hair and the goo coming from her mouth, and then it's just pencils. I do love it, but at the same time it's like getting inspiration from when you're ill, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. And then last page in here that I've coloured is this witch page, and I don't know if you can see, but in the background I've added these sort of symbols to make it look magical and sparkly with some glamour dust again. It's simple and it's there, but it's not in your face. And then yeah, this black cat was really difficult for me, but I like the way her lips turned out. It's always hard doing the Camilla D'Errico's lips. I'm not great at it, but I try really hard to get there. So that is Cute and Creepy colouring book. Last of Camilla D'Errico's books is the Pop Manga Dragons and Other Magically Mythical Creatures. It's a very long title. So I have coloured this page, and I turned it into a Pokemon inspired page, turning him into a Charmander or Charmeleon or Charizard, little baby Charizard, and these were smiley faces which I turned into Pokeballs. And yeah, when I just saw the page, I thought she looked like a Pokemon trainer, so I just went with it. And it's acrylic paint in the background and on the balls and the flame, and then just coloured pencil for the rest of it. And I have done this dragon page, which I absolutely love. So it is acrylic paint in the background, and then this is the, I can't remember what make it is, but it's like gold foil, but it's got multicolours in the pot. So I put that down and just hope for the best that all the colours would be shown. And it's like, over here is like really gold, and over here you've got a lot of the bronze colour, but it works really well. It's like my dragon is protecting his gold. And then I have this page, which again I love, and this is acrylic paint all in for the background, and then pencils. It's like a combination I use in Camilla de Erico's books, is I'll do the background in acrylic paint and then just pencils on the illustration, because there's quite a lot of space in the backgrounds, which, although I've done a couple with just coloured pencils, it takes a lot, and paint just gives a nice effect and saves time. So yeah, he's about to be dragged down to his death most likely, but he looks happy at the moment. And that's the last one that I've coloured in there. Pop Manga Dragons and Other Magically Mythical Creatures. And that's the last book in my third cube. The only colouring books left I have to show for part 4 now are my Colour in Heaven books, and I have a lot of those. So that might be a longer video. And yeah, have a nice day. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you will watch again. Thank you. Goodbye.